was something I've talked about every week, and I'm frankly going to continue to do this as long as it's necessary to do it. And that is the tragedy of gun violence, where we have repeat offenders, violent offenders who have a gun, and they have no right to have a gun. This past week, at least 20 people in Ohio died last Tuesday through yesterday due to gun violence. 7 days, 20 people murdered, an additional 21 or more people shot. So another 21 who've been shot. There is legislation that has been pending in the General Assembly now for almost a year. I think it's tougher on those responsible for the majority of violent crime in this state, and those are the convicted felons who illegally carry guns. Who doesn't want to get tough against convicted felons who illegally carry guns? Right now, many of these felons are not getting locked up when they're found with guns. Current state law considers this a lower level nonviolent offense. Oftentimes, this results in probation, despite the fact that those who are willing to break the law and carry a gun are often the people who are willing to hurt or kill with that weapon. I'm not blaming judges. The law needs to, frankly, be changed, and that's what I'm proposing to do. Let's look at a couple of the victims. 6-year-old Marvea Jones was shot earlier this month. She lived for 2 weeks before dying last Tuesday. The little girl, another child full of promise, was caught in a crossfire when two men started shooting at each other in Akron. According to court records, one of the alleged gunmen was a convicted felon prohibited from having a gun. He allegedly had a gun. He allegedly used that gun. And now another child is dead, another Ohio child. Here's another case, Sandusky. Quadruple shooting in Sandusky, now homicide after victim dies. Suspect still on the loose. This happened on Sunday. 4 shot, 1 dead. Sandusky police identified the man, Malik Aaron, as the suspected gunman. According to public records, he is a convicted felon who is prohibited from having a gun. Sandusky police issued a warrant for his arrest and warned that he should be considered armed and dangerous. This man is still wanted. He's out there on our streets, and we need to find him. I want to stress that everyone, of course, is innocent until proven guilty. However, if this is the person responsible, there is no doubt that he would have known that he couldn't have a gun. On at least 2 occasions, the court informed him in writing that he did not have the right to carry a gun. Let me read directly from the court's entry. The defendant is hereby notified that under federal law, persons convicted of felonies can never lawfully possess a firearm. The defendant was further notified that if he is ever found with a firearm, even one belonging to someone else, he could be subject to prosecution by federal authorities and subject to imprisonment for several years. End of quote. Now, federal law is tougher than state law, and we have to change state law to correspond with what the federal law is. As I said, if charged for illegally possessing a gun under state law, an offender many times will get probation. Yesterday in Cincinnati, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of Ohio announced that they had federally indicted 16 people in regard to gun violence in Hamilton County. And that is great, great news. But the reason the federal authorities have to get involved with cases like this is because of what I've been saying week after week. And that is that state law isn't tough enough on these criminals. And the truth is that there are only so many of these cases that the federal authorities can take. And so many times our county prosecuting attorneys, our sheriffs, our police, when they find someone, convicted felon, someone who has committed a violent act in the past, who has no right to have a gun, but is found in possession of a gun, they can't take those into federal court because there's just not enough ability to prosecute those in federal court. And the federal prosecutors have to pick and choose which ones to take. So we need to give our local prosecuting attorneys, our 88 county prosecuting attorneys, the ability to take those cases. Now, our bill does not require mandatory sentencing. We leave it up to the judge. but this is a vast improvement. It's an improvement of our law that mayors, improvement of our law that chiefs of police have asked me for. And it's something that we really need to do. We need to give our local authorities the ability to save lives and get these repeat violent offenders off our streets.